Hey guys, so today I have swatches of the new Mooncat Powerpuff Girls collection. There are 6 new polishes here, as well as some nail stickers, and then this collector's box if you wanted to get everything together. This collection is available right now, so I will link the Mooncat website down below where you guys can check these out. 6 polishes all together, and I will get into the swatches. So first off, these are the nail stickers that come in the collection, just a bunch of Powerpuff Girls images, and there are also 2 sheets of stickers in the pack. These are available individually, and they also come in the collector's box. There are 2 slightly different boxes that the collection comes in. It's a limited edition collection, so the boxes are a little special as well as the bottles. This purple box here is one of them. Mine didn't have a label on the back for some reason, but this pink box is the other one, and this one did have the label on the back, so you can see how that will look. And there's also the little Powerpuff Girls design printed on the bottles as well. The first polish is called Blossom's Firebreath, and this is described as a pink jelly polish packed with pink, orange, and blue iridescent flakies and micro holographic glitter. This is a jelly base. It's pretty sheer on the first coat. There are a good amount of flakies in here, and the flakies that are in here are very, very sparkly, and they reflect the light really, really strongly. So they really look like they're glowing. So this actually builds really well in 2 coats. You get quite a bit of that pink color there. It's sheer enough that you can see the flakies through all the layers, so the flakies start to build up really well as well. Still a moderate amount of visible nail line showing. My nails are pretty short, so it doesn't stand out as strongly as it would with longer nails. And this covered almost completely in 3 coats. Still a tiny bit of nail line that you could pick out if you really look for it, but it was very, very subtle. I think on short nails this works fine in 2 coats, so I would say 2 or 3 just depending on your application. So that is 3 coats of Blossom's Firebreath. So the next polish is called Don't Cry Bubbles, and this is described as a sky blue jelly with color shifting, multicolored iridescent flakies, blue and yellow glitter, and round green glitter, and 2 different types of holographic glitter. Good formula on this one as well. The jelly base feels a little bit more saturated than the last color, but that might also be because it's not really like a pinky skin tone color like the last one was. This built really well for me in 2 coats. I had a little bit of visible nail line showing. It was not enough that I felt like I needed to do a 3rd coat. If your nails are longer or you have a whiter nail line, you might want that 3rd coat, but I was good here in 2. You can occasionally get a flaky that will stick up a little bit and add a slight amount of texture, but it's not anything like a glitter. And the flakies are all really easy to remove as well. This one is a little more difficult because it has the circle glitters in it that are thicker and act more like an actual glitter, but they're very sparse, so you might just have like 1 or 2 stuck to your nail after removal. The rest of the polishes in the collection remove really, really easily. The next polish is called Hardcore Buttercup, and this is described as a green jelly with green, purple, and teal iridescent flakies and 2 different types of holographic glitter. Good formula on this one, a little bit sheer on the first coat. You can occasionally get some pretty significant sized flakies. It didn't happen on my nails, I don't think, but I did get a couple on my swatch wheel when I did the comparisons, and you just have to move those around with the brush a little bit more. They take a little bit more manipulation to kind of lay correctly because they are so huge, but those are pretty rare. This built pretty well in 2 coats. I did have some visible nail line showing. I would probably just wear this in 2 coats, but I also felt like it could be better, so I did want to add a 3rd. And to be fair, the color did look better in 3 coats. A tiny bit of nail line showing. It is a pretty sheer jelly base. You do get a lot of coverage from the flakies, but you're still going to have some nail line. If your nails are much longer, that's going to be more obvious. So that is 3 coats of Hardcore Buttercup. The next polish is called the Diabolical Mojo Jojo, and this is described as a purple jelly with color shifting, purple to pink shimmer, green, pink, and black flakies, and 3 different types of holographic glitter. Good formula here, sheer jelly base like the others, lots and lots of flakies, and I really love the black flakies in here, though I do feel like, personal preference here, I would like to see the flakies a little more dense, just a slight tiny bit more of the black flakies. The color does build up really nicely in 2 coats, and to be fair, the black flakies also build up a bit more in 2 coats, but I still would like to see a tiny bit more. The iridescent flakies and that pink shimmer shine through really nicely as well. Like the last polish, this wasn't bad in 2 coats, but I felt like it could be a little bit better, so I did add a 3rd. It did build better in 3 coats. It wasn't a huge difference, but it was kind of what I was looking for, and I also feel like that slightly deepened color with the 3rd coat makes the holographic glitter stand out much, much better. And even though the word glitter is used a lot for these holographic elements, I don't find that it dries gritty or affects the removal at all. So that is 3 coats of the Diabolical Mojo Jojo. The next polish is called Forces of Evil, and this is described as a pink-red jelly jam-packed with color-shifting pink, orange, and blue iridescent flakies and micro holographic glitter. This is a pretty saturated jelly base, especially in comparison to the rest of the collection. I do feel like the flakies don't seem as dense in this one, but the ones that are there, especially those blue shifting ones, are so bright and glowy, and they have that like kind of backlit effect. They shine through the base really, really well. This built up really well in 2 coats. I would say 2 or 3 depending on your preference, but I actually think it looked totally fine in 2 coats. And back to those blue flakies, I don't understand how they can shine through a red jelly base but still look blue and not shift to a purple shade. I don't know, they're magical. I really, really like them. I'm sick, so I don't sound as excited as I actually am, but I do really like those flakies. So that is 2 coats of Forces of Evil. And the last polish is called Chemical X, and this is described as a black jelly with a rainbow spectrum of many multicolored, color-shifting iridescent flakies and 3 different types of holographic glitter. Sheer on the first coat, but pretty good amount of flakies. The rainbow flakies stand out really, really brightly through that base, like very clear rainbow of flakies. They don't get muted by the jelly base at all. This builds really well in 2 coats. I did do a slightly thicker second coat to make sure that everything was even, and I think that worked really well for the length of my nails. You might need 3 depending on how long your nails are and how thin your coats are or how thick your coats are, but I was good in 2. So that is 2 coats of Chemical X. And because I forgot to do this while the polishes were actually on my nails, here is the whole collection with matte top coat, because I always feel like I have to put matte top coat over flakies. So first for Blossom's Firebreath, this one is Moon Fairy. This leans a bit more purple and has that really strong gold shimmery flaky to it, so nothing close there. This is Do You Play Croquet? It has the iridescent flakies. It also has a pretty prominent scattered holographic and is also leaning a bit more purple. And then this one is Strange Berry, which is more gold with the flakies rather than these like pink to blue iridescents, and then also leans a bit more red. So for Don't Cry Bubbles, the first one is The Sea Between Us. This is darker. The flakies are kind of similar, but the color is darker. And I do feel like those little circle glitters in Don't Cry Bubbles are what sets this apart from pretty much anything else that would have flakies in it. I'm surprised at how much those stand out in the polish when there's so many other things in it. I feel like as soon as I look at it, my eyes go straight to those circle glitters. This is If Frogs Had Wings. This is much lighter. It has that strong pink shimmer to it. This is Wish I Hadn't Cried So Much, also lighter and a much more like shiny, sparkly metallic flake. And then this one is Acid Washed, also a much lighter blue, much smaller flakies. So for Hardcore Buttercup, this first one is Maelstrom. This is blue. This looked very green in the bottle, so I apologize. It's one of those things that I pull them out based on how they look in the bottle, and then once I start swatching, there's always one that's really, really off, but I don't want to waste a swatch wheel. So this is Maelstrom. This is much, much more blue with a green flaky. This next one is Tyrannosaurus Hex. This dries matte, but I did top coat it. This is a much darker green. Well, it's a darker green. It's not much darker, but it is darker. And then it has these little tiny metallic green flakies. They're much smaller and they're just metallic green. So it's a different look than the iridescent flakies in this. And this is Prickly Pear. I think this was also matte and I top coated it. I should have put that in my notes. I think this one also dries matte. This is a more like swampy Shrek green and has these red shifting iridescent flakies which give a ton of contrast to it, and they're smaller, a little less chunky, so nothing close here. So for the Diabolical Mojo Jojo, there's black flakies in this one, which is really going to set it apart from just about anything that you put it next to. But this first one is Bermuda Triangle. This is a much warmer purple and has a much lighter, more delicate flake to it. This is Mood Ring. This is a much brighter, more vibrant shade of like purpley pink. Again, no black flakies and a bit of a lighter flake to this one as well. This is Roar. This is kind of close. It's a little bit darker and a little bit warmer of a purple. The base color is kind of close, but it doesn't look the same once you take into account the different iridescent flakies. The ones in Roar are much smaller and a little bit more of like a gold to green, less blue, and of course the lack of black flakies, which again I think makes the polish looks so different than anything else that you'd put it next to. Even though I understand that people have very strong opinions about black flakies, I feel like you either love them or you hate them. This one is Pomegranate Seeds. This is more of a almost shifty multi-chrome purple to blue base and then has much fewer flakies that are brighter and warmer, so nothing close there either. For the Forces of Evil, this first one is Hermit Crab. This is a bit more of a coral base. It has more of like a scattered gold shimmer to the base, which makes it look a little less squishy than Forces of Evil's like squishy red base does. And it also has a lot of gold flaky to it, so there's a lot of contrast with the gold and the coral shade, where there's contrast here too, but it just looks very different because they're more blue, red, I don't know. It's different. It's not the same. This is Shroomdom. This is also brighter, more of like a vibrant red, true red, and the flakies are different here too. They're also kind of like a gold to red shifty flake. They're smaller and there's a few more of them. And this one is Reclaim the Flame. This is a magnetic, but I didn't magnetize it. In the bottle, this looks like it's really, really heavy in the flakies, but once you get it on the nail, the base is kind of opaque and metallic, so it does cover a lot of the flakies, so it makes it look not as comparable on the nail as it did in the bottle. So nothing close there. It's darker, it's burgundy, and the flakies don't stand out the same way. And lastly, I have Chemical X. The only thing that I had from Mooncat that was dark and had flakies in it is Stumped. These are really not super comparable. Stumped is very dark, but the base is also very obviously brown and not black. The flakies in here are more of like a shifty iridescent flaky, not necessarily coming off rainbow like the flakies in Chemical X do. And Chemical X has a scattered holographic that Stumped does not have. I feel like I could make a couple of honorable mentions here. There were several polishes in the collection that all had like one little element that I really appreciated. So the Diabolical Mojo Jojo, I really liked the black flakies in that one. I love, love, love a rainbow flaky mix over any kind of black base. So I do also really like Chemical X, and I think it looks fantastic with matte top coat. But I think my actual overall favorite is going to be Forces of Evil, because I just love those glowing blue flakies that are in there. I love the contrast between the blue and the red. I love that the red was just sheer enough to not change the color of the blue flaky to purple. It's so cool. I don't think I picked them up super well on camera, but in person, they're just mind-blowing. So that is the Powerpuff Girls collection from Mooncat. Again, I will link the Mooncat website down below where you guys can check those out because they are available right now. The stickers are available individually, the polishes are all available individually, and then you can also get them together in the fancy collector's box. So hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later.